All right, now that we have data coming in, we need to go to GoDoc. And what do I want to look at GoDoc to start figuring out how to put that data into my database, my Postgres database? What do I want to look at? What package? Yes, 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 database SQL. And so far we are using like DB query, right? Because DB was SQL DB, SQL open, get our DB, ping it, defer the DB close, and and then we're like, okay, we could query. Well, we got a DB. It's like SQL DB, pointer to SQL DB. Let's look for DB and see what we got. Ooh, look at all these pointer to DB. And so far, we're using query. And that's for reading, select star, right? And we want to create. In SQL, to create, it's insert. I'm going to maybe see if there's insert. Way down here, there's insert. Type result. That didn't give me what I was looking for. Maybe these inserts? Nope. What else do we got? Go home. So we've got query. But a query is just to do a query. And that is also a query, even though we're not just saying give me this. It's writing the query. So executes a query that returns rows, typically a select. The args for any placeholder parameter. So it's telling us typically a select. I didn't see any insert. I'm going to look at that again just to kind of see if there's anything about inserting. Begin, close, connection, driver, execute, query string, result error. That looks interesting. Like I want to execute some other query. Because query really does kind of seem like, can you give me this, right? Like you're asking for it to give you something. So maybe it's execute. There's execute with context, which isn't something we were getting into. There's prepare and prepare context, which, like, I think that's like a security thing higher up. I read a little bit about that. So much depth here. There's the query, which we've used, and query with context, and getting a single row. I'm going to look at see what execute does. Execute executes a query without returning any rows. The args are for any placeholder parameters in the query. So here's the query, placeholder parameters, result, and error. It gives us a result. Last insert ID, rows affected. That's interesting. So let's see if exec does anything. So we've got our value, and with exec we get back a result and an error. DB exec, like execute, and then we're going to have a query string, and then here we're going to have some arguments. I don't know, maybe fn. And is there an example? Execute with context. So here we have execute, and there's an update there. Sweet. Right? And you get the result and error, and result rows affected. You could see that. And that's kind of interesting. And the ID is 47, where user ID is equal to question mark. And then ID is passed into the question mark. Is that how that works? It's kind of interesting. Let's look for a question mark elsewhere on the page, see if it talks about some variable where ID is equal to question mark, where money is equal to question mark. Select name from foo where ID equals question mark. Not what I would have guessed as a placeholder. Maybe that's SQL. So Postgres variable names. Postgres variable naming conventions. No questions on this page. Not a single question on this page. Postgres question mark significance. Don't know. All right, well, let's give it a try, see what happens. So we want to insert into, what is it? Insert into, what's the name of our table? Customers. Customers. And we want the field name, which is C first, and then values, and that will be question mark. And then semicolon. And do we need that like this? And does it need to be, is it notes a string, or does it need to be inside string marks? And then I need my error checking. It's not liking that. But if error is not equal to nil, then log fatal error. Let's see what it doesn't like. Cannot assign result to R. Oh, multiple assignment. So this is a result. And otherwise, what happens with our result? DB execute. And then we get a result. And result is last insert ID and rows affected, gives us int64 and an error. So we could do int64 error. And it's a result dot last insert ID, or we'll do rows affected. And then we could do if error is not equal to nil, log.println error, return. Otherwise, func.println n. And we'll say this is rows affected. And then we have also, what was the other one? Rows affected, last insert ID. All right, think that's going to work? I don't know. I mean, that was the syntax they had. This is our insert statement. We could check that. Just make sure we've got the right. Insert into categories, values. Maybe we'll need single quotes because we're putting a string in. Let's try it. What do you think? Who wants to bet? Anybody want to do some gambling? All right. Who are we doing? Q? Boom. Pink stuff. Well, Q gadget guy printed. We got that, but syntax error at or near customers. And what is it? 1917-16. 1917-16. One's line number. 1917-16. I don't have any of those numbers here. Customers. Oh, I've got customers twice. Let's run it again. I don't know. Got one parameters, but the statement requires 0. Got one parameter, but the statement requires 0. Like it's a question mark. Let's try it again. Somebody give me a name. At or near paren. We have a semicolon up there. So I'm going to do a little bit of a cheat. Insert into books, those values. So these need to be, I guess, just the field name. And so the question mark is telling us to put the field name there. So insert into, oh, that's not right. I've got C first. And then the values are just pound 1, pound 2, pound 3, pound 4. Where's the pound 1, 2, 3, and 4 coming from? Oh. So boom, 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 boom. All right. This is going to be what? I guess pound 1. $1. I was saying pound. $1, FN. That should do it now. So let's go back and look at the documentation and see why that wasn't clear to us. Dollar. Nothing. So maybe on godoc.org, NetHTTP, text template, and we want HTML template. $. So here a variable name which is a possibly empty alphanumeric string preceded by $, such as $. Result is the value of the variable. Variables are described below. A pipeline inside an action may initialize a variable to capture the result, but this isn't templates, right? But in templates we have $. We're in Go code still. So that dollar symbol kind of perplexes me where that comes from. Let's even see if it works. That looks pretty good. Now if we go back here, whoa. So we got it. We just we had ping successful, rows affected 1, no last insert ID available is what it tells us. So maybe we never got to our redirect because no last insert ID, it just kind of stopped. Oh, I returned after that because I couldn't print it out if there isn't one. So I didn't redirect. I think I would rather redirect instead of return. And then return. This is my first redirect. So that's interesting. $sign. I gotta look into that. And I'm using HTTP error here, which I like. All right, I'll see if I can find out where that dollar comes from out of this video.